Welcome to Graphi poorly sums up Alan Wake's American Nightmare. Alright, where we last left off, chat. Alan saved both Alice and the town of Bright Falls from the Dark Place, an alternate dimension hidden deep within Cauldron Lake. However, Alan is now trapped in the Dark Place. It's important to mention now Barry's baby girl. Aside from that, Thomas Zane wrote the events of Alan's life, made an evil doppelganger of Alan named Mr. Scratch as well. He is the darkness, while Alan is the light. Oh yeah, to go back to Barry for a sec, he was actually the final boss of Alan Wake 1 if you played the special episodes. Baby girl tried to kill us. But knowing this, Alan Wake now has to write a sequel to his book that he will title as Return. You know who's not in the Dark Place though? Barry. He's baby girl. But now, where are we? Where are we now? Where does this game possibly take place? I don't know. Somewhere in Arizona? Since the events of Alan Wake 1, it's been 2 years. Alan's been missing during this time, no longer existing in the real world. American Nightmare takes us to somewhere far from Bright Falls. Arizona. A desert wasteland that some like to call a state. Believe it or not. Now, you may be asking yourself, what about Baby Girl? Huh? Where's Barry fit into all this? Huh? Where is he? Where's he at? Is it kind of fucked up that we don't know where he is? Well, actually, good news! It's okay! He's just sleeping here. Yeah, turns out he's now the manager of the band, Old Gods of Asgard, who actually helped out Alan during the events of the first game. But as nice as it is to see Barry getting much better work than before, and that he's still rocking the exact same outfit he wore 2 years ago, we need to get back on topic here, okay? It's revealed that Alan is now in an episode of Night Springs, which is also the name of the fictional location in Arizona where Alan will be spending the entirety of the game in. However, now that we're here for some inexplicable reason, what does Alan need to do? Well, for starters, it turns out that Alan is actually trapped in a time loop. And he needs to break free from it. To do this, he needs to beat Mr. Scratch, the Herald of Darkness, who's able to control the darkness and send Alan back in time. Once this is all over, he can finally reunite with his wife Alice, and most importantly, Barry. Act 1. Alan awakens near a motel, where he meets Emma. Now, here's a few things you should know about Emma. She's a female mechanic who's mistreated by the townspeople for being a woman with the kind of job that she has, even though they still need her to repair their vehicles, really mistreating the only person that can apparently be a mechanic here. She's also actually come face to face with Mr. Scratch before, which is why she immediately mistakes Alan for him, but he's able to easily clear things up with her, and she accepts that Alan just has a psychopathic clone running around that he must defeat. Also, to Alan's surprise, Emma actually has a manuscript page he needs to rewrite reality with. How convenient! The first step to defeating Mr. Scratch has already been accomplished. However, near the motel, there's actually an oil derrick that the Taken, people possessed by the darkness, are making use of. Alan takes it upon himself to do something about this. And what would that be? If you guessed crashing a satellite into the oil derrick, you were correct! Using the information within the manuscript page, Alan was able to alter reality by causing a meteor to crash into a satellite, making it come crashing down into the oil derrick. While this is all awfully convenient, how's Emma doing? Unfortunately, not everyone gets a victory. Emma's freaked out by what happened, and the darkness consumes her. She's dead. But what's going on with Barry? It's okay. Chat, he's still sleeping. That's all that matters. Anywho, this doesn't bother Alan at all, and after following some clues at the motel, he's led to a nearby observatory where he meets Dr. Rachel Meadows. Unfortunately, there's not much to say about her, aside from she had an assistant that died shortly before Alan arrived, but there wasn't really much to say about Emma either. Which is a trend that doesn't end with our new character. Turns out, Rachel also met Mr. Scratch. Unfortunately for Alan, knocking out the satellite seemed to have been a silly mistake on his part. You see, it seems that it just so happened to be tracking a signal that Mr. Scratch was very interested in. Alan suspects that whatever that signal was, it could very well be the key to defeating him once and for all. Chat, let's be honest, the secret to beating him probably has something to do with light. But to get a hold of the signal, Alan needs to repair the observatory's telescope, which has been sabotaged by the Taken. After Alan fights through hordes of Taken, he fixes it and gets a piece of the signal, which is then made into another page. It's another page that he can now use to rewrite reality with. The page also hints that he should go to the nearby drive-in theater where he meets my least favorite character in this whole game, Serena Valdivia, who is under the influence of darkness, which means she is very horny. Yeah, apparently darkness just makes you horny. Alan Wake, not being very smart and realizing this was his chance of potentially having a better wife, turns the lights back on, which frees her, meaning she's no longer horny. You guys might be thinking I'm joking about this, but no, go ahead and look up footage. This is literally her entire personality. She tells Alan Mr. Scratch's master plan. Oh yeah, she met Mr. Scratch as well. She tells Alan Mr. Scratch's master plan is to make sure the sun never rises again. She then gives Alan the security code to the projection room so that he can change reality using his newfound page. Which, this is his newfound page that he found. That's it. He's got all his pages. He collected them all. He's got all of them. Now, a little aside, there's really nothing to say about our supporting characters, Emma, Rachel, and Serena. They're one-dimensional, add absolutely nothing to the plot. Honestly, if you remove them, nothing would change aside from the lack of quest givers that don't really need to be giving Alan any of these objectives. Rachel, in my honest opinion, is the only one a case could be made for, as I doubt Alan would even know how to work observatories in their telescopes, and yet she's just there as much as Emma and Serena are. Speaking of, Emma's only reason to be there is the one point of suspense for character death that even the game itself doesn't take seriously at all. And Serena's even worse, as she doesn't do anything other than give you the code to the projector room. It's bad. Rant aside, because what Alan has collected is incomplete. Mr. Scratch appears, laughs, and sends Alan back in time to the beginning of the game. He intends to do this every time until Alan Wake becomes Alan asleep forever. It's here where I need to mention that the point... this is the point where the game should have ended, but for whatever reason it's still going. No, really, even the Wikipedia page for this game's plot basically gives up after the 4th paragraph in the plot section. Because Mike Rodolotti and Finnish Hideo Kojima Sam Lake probably couldn't figure out how to keep the game going, I could tell you right now that the game repeats itself 2 more times with minor differences. This is where it settles in that I'm actually very glad I didn't play this as some people demanded, as there's a chance I probably would have broken down live, but then again, I think Nier Automata by Hideo Kojima's own Mr. Scratch, Yoko Taro, is an amazing game, despite it making you replay the main story a couple times, effectively presenting the exact same issues. So let's just keep going and see what happens. Now that Alan Wake has appeared again near the motel, he has awakened. He knows what to do. Alan repeats everything at the motel again, and Emma recognizes him too, and even remembers dying. It's okay though. Alan makes a satellite crash into the oil derrick again. Emma, unfortunately though, also dies again. But you know what I want to know, chat? What about baby girl? What's going on with Barry? It's okay! He's still sleeping! Alan returns to the observatory, not really caring much about how he failed to save Emma, and meets with Rachel. She also remembers him, but after doing what she needs him to do again, she's only able to get a larger, yet still incomplete portion of the signal. As for meeting with Serena again, I don't really need to say anything here. The order of events are basically exactly the same. Alan fails and is sent back in time again. Side note, I feel like everything in this could be easily prevented. Like, if Alan Wake has the power to rewrite reality, why doesn't he just do it? If Mr. Scratch wants him dead, why doesn't he just kill him? Really, neither of these would be difficult for either of them. I think because they're both incredibly powerful in their own right, it's hard to figure out how to narratively limit either of the two without suddenly making the story difficult to take seriously. Maybe they shouldn't have as much power as we're led to believe they do. Alan wakes up near the motel for the 3rd time, repeating everything again. Including letting you watch that cool cutscene of the satellite crashing into the oil derrick. Again! Miraculously enough, though, he's even able to save Emma this time. All it took was some light. But you know what's the question that's on my mind, chat? What about baby girl? What's up with Barry? It's okay, chat. He's still just sleeping. Yippee! Alan gets the full signal from Rachel. It turns out to be a film made by his wife, Alice. That's what it was. That's it. Serena is honestly so irrelevant. Her only purpose is to be the most minor roadblock in Alan's objective. I could refrain from mentioning her as if she doesn't exist and it would be exactly the same. Anyways, Alan sets up Alice's film in the projector room, to which Mr. Scratch appears only to be met with his demise. Alan has won. Alan Wake is now Alan Winner. Finally, after having broken out of the time loop Mr. Scratch created, Alan is reunited with his wife Alice, and they can both go home to see Barry together. However, it was all just an episode of Night Springs. You have wasted hours of your time playing the same game 3 times in a row for an ending that never happened. None of this matters. Alan Wake fans lived off of this for 11 years with no real conclusion from 2012 to 2023. I am so glad I never got into this franchise until recently. And that's it. That's Alan Wake's American Nightmare. I had an opportunity to really go out of my way and write out a lot of things that I missed out on that happens in both time loops. But in all honesty, nothing really significant happens aside from like changes of dialogue that is so unimportant and insignificant. No, I was not going to put any of that there, especially because the supporting cast of characters do not matter in the grand scheme of things. And yes, I really hope, as Ulster said, that I saved any of you the time from going through something that people try to tell me is absolutely necessary. I'm really glad I didn't listen to any of them. And to those people, all I have to say is, I'm going to tell my therapist your name.